Alright, here's part 2 of the Mongoose moped. An update. I got a different back tire. This back tire is a little bit lower profile, which simply means it's not as fat this way as the other tire was. So what I ended up having to do, the drive here, it's mounted on on a bolt that goes through here. Initially with the larger tire, it was in the top hole, but when it was in the top hole, you see how now it's sitting where the drive is that sprocket is right, generally sitting kind of almost level. I know it's not exact, but before, when it was sitting up here, it was sitting at even more of an incline. And because of that, this support bar was hitting the tire when I tried to put pressure on it. So I had to move it up one hole, so that wasn't making contact anymore. This tire, as you can see, is much different. I left the front tire the same, mountain bike tire style, but this one is a much firmer, much harder rubber than what was in the front. There isn't as many knobs and knots on this, so already I've only used it for a little bit. And the other one, no matter where you put the tire pressure, you could smell burning tire. So as soon as you were if you weren't driving it, you immediately had to come back and disengage the engine, because it would melt the tire. This one immediately works a lot better. There's another thing I noticed, because there aren't too many, mine didn't come with any installation instructions, and there's only a couple videos online. One thing I noticed, when you tighten this down, you should have it where almost instantly it bites in between here, but there's enough of a flex where the slack on this side is taken up. You don't want this side to be loose and this side to be tight, or you don't want it where when you tighten down on that clamp, the box of this housing squeezes in like that, because that's going to put pressure on the bearings in the drive. That isn't mentioned anywhere, but it only seems logical to me. So really you have to have it set up where there's just a little bit of flex in here, so you have to have this pretty tight, but just enough play, so when you lock this down, not only does it close the gap here, but it also closes the gap here and doesn't put too much pressure on this way. But anyway, I'll get back, and I really haven't been able to do a good test of it yet. So far the top speed I hit was, I think, 31.5 miles an hour. Let's see, let me go to it right now. I have the bike computer here. Well, for some reason now it's saying 24. I know I did crack 30, but I don't know, I must have accidentally cleared the computer or something. But anyway, it is possible to get this up to, it went 30 before I changed the tire. So I'm going to take this for a test drive. I did accidentally leave this out in the rain last night, so I don't know, maybe the computer reset itself. But I'm going to take it for a drive, and I'm going to see if I can crack 30 again, since the computer cleared itself. But there's the update.